Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello.
our coronavirus special episode. What are we on, 7 now? A lot of these things. But, we're stuck indoors, so make ammo, reload, do podcasting.
Yeah. I was up late last night, so I still couldn't sleep in, even though I really wanted to. I was out of bed before 8 o'clock, in the reloading room before 9, and before I knew it, it was like I come upstairs for lunch, right? And it was 4 o'clock. It's like, oh, okay, got some shit done. Right on.
Were you Tiger Kinging last night? I watched that episode last night as soon as it came
so did
out.
I. The second it was brought to my attention, I watched it. Little did, it was cool and all, but I want a season 2. I want a documentary crew still following them around, still following the because there's going to be some fallout to some of these people's, as a result of their decisions.
Like a "Where Are They Now" thing?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what they did last night, actually, Ian. They did a "Where Are They Now?" So
I liked it. I think they must have just mailed iPhones to a bunch of people and ran those earbud things, the expensive ones for iPhones.
That
AirPods, them things. Yeah. And then that was how they did the videos. They must have gave them the phones afterwards.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent the day finishing up 9mm, and then I case gauged it all. What did I put away today? I put away 1,680 rounds of 124 grain, quote unquote, practice ammo, and just puttered in the basement, getting some stuff cleaned up, moved around. Now I have a whole new incentive to clean up the basement, because I've got to make room for my RC workshop now, where I will tune all my vehicles. So, what have you guys? What's been going on since last time? Thursday? We did Thursday. Yeah. I will go to Ian. Yeah. Ian, what have you been doing since last time you were slumming it with us?
I've been crazy busy, despite not actually going to my actual work. I've been kicking off the so-called bucket list for the Doomstead here. Everything from building buildings to repairing old ones. I know, just going out. It's actually hunting season right now for us. We have a spring bear hunt and cougar season still. So,
and they didn't delay it?
No, it's just I literally back onto Crown land. There's no restrictions on hunting at all. So just armed hikes every morning.
I can walk around Walmart. Sorry, man, but I got to rant. It's go button time. I can walk around Walmart with the rest of the Walmartians, coughing in each other's faces, but I can't go fishing on time. I can't stand on a riverbank by myself in the province of New Brunswick on the opening day, but I can hop on an airplane and fly to Vancouver. I can go to Walmart. I can go to the grocery store where all the HIV is. Tim Hortons employees are selling coffee through a window, but I can't go hunting on time or go fishing on time. Stupid. Stupid. It's pissing me off. It's not the measures. It's the inconsistency. Either shut her all down or get the fuck out of my life, because this is some bullshit that doesn't make any goddamn sense, and I'm fucking over it. I can fly to Vancouver, but I can't go fish.
Can you fly to Vancouver?
Yeah.
He just has to stay he has 2 weeks that he has to quarantine himself if he flies.
If you go anywhere.
Well, if there's any flights,
drive across the bridge to Quebec to get some cigars, but I can fly somewhere.
That one's funny.
And that's assuming the flights are still going. I don't know how many flights out of Fredericton or whatever the nearest town is to you there would be, but there can't be that many going per day, I would imagine.
No, but if I want to get on one,
you can.
I can.
Yeah. It's amazing what they don't consider, essential businesses yet. When my daughter's working almost every day at Tim Hortons right now as an essential worker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have coffee at home. There's nothing essential about Tim Hortons.
And the best part is people are actually tailgating in Tim Hortons, which makes you giggle. So every time I drop her off there, there's literally somebody who's got the tailgate down. There's 4 or 5 people on lawn chairs, roughly 2 meters apart, all hanging out in the parking lot. I'm like, how is this remotely cool? But
in Ontario yesterday, or I'm sorry, I can't say when, but in Ontario very recently, a dad was rollerblading with his kids in an empty parking lot, not a park, and they were given an $800 plus fine.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was that's not going to hold up in court because they closed down their rec centers, but this is
the
like a
court's
parking
open,
lot.
Adriel?
What's that?
Adriel, are the courts even open? Is it even going to get heard in court? I mean, yes, I would not pay it. I will say, give me my day in court. But I mean,
for $800, hell yeah.
Yeah, okay, but so the whole thing is more stupidity. We only want essential services open. We're giving out tickets to a dad and his kids who live together for rollerblading in an empty parking lot, and now he's got to go to court for this. That's not essential. He shouldn't have to go into the courtroom for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole thing. Just reeks. The lack of consistency is driving me nuts. And what's going to happen? People are going to snap. People are not going to. They're not going to stand for it. There's going to be social disobedience, and we'll end up getting hit with a second wave because the lack of inconsistency is pissing people off, and they're going to just say F it and do what they want.
Or they'll give an excuse to clamp down harder. I mean, that's just going to, it'll be like that everybody will vote for that Emergencies Act, right?
2 weeks ago, the media couldn't stop clamoring about when are you going to enact the Emergency Measures Act. Now that the provinces have enacted their own versions of the Emergency Measures Act, and people are getting fined for doing harmless things, now the media is complaining that people are getting fined for harmless things.
Can't have it both ways.
No, but they change with the wind. You know, we want emergency measures. How could you find a dad and his kid? What's the matter with you? You asked for it. Now you get it.
Especially that seems like a good way to get exercise in an empty parking lot, like rollerblading around an empty parking lot. It seems pretty safe.
With no one else there.
Yeah.
And even if there was a car on the other side of the parking lot, like, come on.
No, there was nobody in the parking lot except for him and his kids.
Right. Yeah. So can we have
and the bylaw officer? That's it.
And the bylaw officer, yeah. Those bylaw officers are toy cops with a bit too much power right now, and some of them don't know how to wield it. They need to take a step back, calm down, calm their tits, use some common sense.
I wonder how he got within 6 feet, or didn't get within 6 feet while handing out the ticket too.
Right. So we went for a walk last night, the wife and I, and we went down around the bridge. We went towards the bridge, past it, looped underneath it. Now I say the bridge, I'm referring to the bridge between the town of Campbellton and Cross Point, Quebec, and then the First Nations Reserve is right off the bridge on the left when you cross. And they're severely impacted by this bridge closure because they do 90% of their shopping on this side, banking, right, stuff like that. We're a border town.
Yep.
And there's inconsistency in what they're being let across for and what they're not. One of them will be allowed to go to the bank. The next one's father won't be. So anyway, the bridge is being manned sometimes with RCMP and sometimes with public service for the province of New Brunswick. Public safety officers. So and a lot of DNR looking type uniforms. Anyway. We walk down around where the bridge is, or we walk towards the bridge, and when we loop underneath, we can see where they're stopping people going onto the bridge, but you can't see where they're stopping people coming off the bridge. So not unless you really walk around and get underneath the bridge. So that's what we did. And moral of the story is you get down there and all the public safety employees are just hanging out well within 6 feet of each other. So the people who are enforcing the bylaws don't follow the bylaws because it's very difficult for you to social distance when you're at work, just like it's difficult for the people who go to work every day at Tim Hortons that are standing behind the counter making coffee and handing it out the window to social distance. But yet you want families who live together to not rollerblade in an empty parking lot. Yep. This inconsistency is just starting to really get under my skin in a bad way.
Well, it's from the top down too. We just saw our glorious leader there cross provincial boundaries, go to the cottage, and to spend time with his family, which I guess was all three things that were not necessary to do.
Yep. I
don't know.
Yep. Biggest hypocrite in the country.
Yep. Hey, Trevor, speaking of inconsistencies, could you switch your mic to your headset mic? I think we're getting your laptop. It sounds all right, but your mic's better.
Sorry, man.
That's all right.
It's first time. Oh, you know why? Because I plugged it in after the computer was on.
Sounds all right, but it could be better. I got some mags. I got something from New Brunswick.
Did they get in the mail?
Mags
Whee!
and mags and mags and mags.
Sweet.
And I reloaded some ammo too. So now I got ones with red tips. I got ones with gray tips. Got both.
I got through to the CFC in 5 minutes.
What?
Yeah, I
Were you
couldn't
trying to do a
believe it.
transfer?
Yep.
Do an transfer?
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, I was actually completely like caught flat-footed. I was like, oh, geez, I got to get my headphones on and everything else. I get my reference number here. I was afraid to have time to pull out everything, like all the information. I was scrambling to get the email up and everything else. And I was like, sorry to keep you waiting. She's like, yeah, no problem. That's fine. And they're not even that busy, she said. I was like, you're still doing transfers, right? She's like, yeah, of course. Just no licenses. So, yeah, I got a Glock 41 on the way. So we'll see.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that.
All right. So that means I can initiate some transfers because there's two restricteds I've been paid for that people are waiting on the transfers.
Mhm.
Yeah. Give it a shot. I mean, it might vary by province, but I mean, of course, I haven't heard anything since I gave the guy the reference number. So I don't know. It is in Ontario, so we'll see how long that takes. But I don't know. I've heard that they've been running quite a long time for transfers. So.
Oh yeah, look, Kelly, what did it
4
take before
weeks.
things even?
Took 3.5 weeks for me.
one day here in Alberta.
Yeah, I know. It's 1 or 2 days in BC usually too.
Yeah,
So
24 business hours. What else I got up to? Yeah, 3-weight brass, all ready to go,
Nice.
all processed. Actually, Ian, some of this 6.5 Creedmoor is your brass that you mailed me.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
No worries, buddy. I sent some off to Trevor as well, but it was much later and it's got to go much further, so I don't know when it'll show up. But
The dog sled will get it here, buddy. Don't you worry.
yeah. Speaking of brass, actually, I normally go range scrounging and for my own purposes and to try and resell some on CGN or whatever, and never had any luck selling 9 or 223 on CGN because there's just so much of it out there. But all of a sudden now in the last week, it's like my range is closed, of course, so now I can't scrounge more, and people are just like, "I'll take whatever you have."
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people stuck at home with nothing to do, and now start like I don't reload, but it's like I got all this brass and components, and I got nothing but time now. So
I should be selling off mountains of 223. Like I've literally got 5-gallon buckets of it, like Scrooge McDuck and the coins in 223. I could be selling that.
Yep. I mean, think about it. It's just like going to the bottle depot. If people are willing to scrounge on the side of the road and pick up bottles for 5-10 cents a pop, and you can sell 223 brass for 10 cents a pop, it's worth your time, kind of.
Well, what I'll do is because I also have time. Is I will spray it all, lube it all, and put it through my 650 in the undersized dye, and sell it as. And then I'll clean it in my stainless steel tumbler. It'll be gorgeous. Yeah, I'll clean it. I'll sell it as resized and cleaned. You just got to trim it and go to town.
Yeah, I sold some 308. Same idea. It was all prepped, ready to use. Trimmed it to 0.005 and steel tumbled and everything else. And then, but the 223 once fired, I just tumbled it and that was it, and it went. So, I think I had some guy grab a couple 109 for the first time in I don't know how long, and he would pay me 3 cents a pop, which isn't great, but it's just sitting there otherwise, and I got thousands. So,
anyway, how clean is it?
Clean enough. Went through the steel tumbler. So, I mean, I didn't pop out the primer first, but I mean, that's kind of their job if they want to do that. So,
I think so too. Yeah.
Adriel, I gotta open the open up our group chat. You want to see clean? Check that out, and then maybe you can share it.
Yeah, I can. I think I can. 1 second. I believe you just go share screen, and you just pick that thing there. You like Kawamo, and then you can see.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty sparkly.
One of the guys from Patriot was actually trying using turtle wax afterwards to try and maintain the shine because instead of oxidizing right away, like I know after a few days it starts to get a little darker. I guess he was saying you throw a little tiny bit of turtle wax in it keeps that shine for like ever.
Yeah, you could. Dylan sells a wax that you actually put into your dry media, and it does make a noticeable difference on the brass for sure.
Yeah,
but stainless steel media, the boys the boys I shoot IPSC with from Nova Scotia are dicks, and they're saying that I broke the pins. I always get pins in my flash holes, and out of 290 cases, 10 of them had pins in the flash holes. I know because I when I clean the brass in my stainless steel tumbler with the stainless steel media pins, I do it without primers because I resize the brass first, and then I clean it in the stainless steel tumbler to wash the lube off and then get the primer pockets really clean. And so I put them all in trays afterwards so that they can dry, drip dry, basically with the water going towards the neck and not towards the primer pocket, running out of the case, not in the case. And then I visually inspect the primer pockets, and sure enough, there was 2 pins per flash hole.
What I was doing is I run it through the dehydrator to dry out the brass, and then I just take it in the tumbler one last time. Like I got one of those gray Frankfurt Arsenal tumblers.
Yep.
And just run it through that afterwards. After it's completely dry, then they'll just tumble. They'll fall out.
These are wedged in too tight. I don't know if it's the size of my media, but dry or not, I've got to get in there with a punch and push them through the flash hole. But I still like to do what you're suggesting or what you do, because there could be a water droplet inside one of the cases that's holding a pin in there, right? So when they're completely dry, I will do that tumble thing too, but I've got to inspect the flash holes because they just dry or wet, they don't fall out on their own.
Haven't run into that yet. But keep them busy otherwise. I mean, I've been selling hatching eggs like no tomorrow because everybody wants to get into chickens now. People aren't going to Costco, so we're selling out of the eating eggs as well. Yeah, I mean, no shortage of work around the farm to do, right?
No, exactly. If anything, you're going to get busier because you're ramping up production for neighbors as well.
Yeah, and the neighbors have all like got standing orders, and that saves them from having to leave the house for a little bit of stuff, and better eggs for it, cheaper too. So it's all good. I've had a couple guys pop by that normally aren't on island, but are kind of brought their significant others back home to ride out the storm here type of thing. So that was kind of good. But maintaining good social distancing. But just like myself, they're somehow immune to COVID-19 based on what they do for a living. So I don't know how that works. But anyway, that's what it. The other thing is just been doing a lot of tree cutting around here because of stuff hanging on power lines and everything else. So yeah, no shortage of wood for next year. So
cool.
Who else? Adriel, you do anything other than a little bit more reloading?
Bit of reloading. I didn't actually make it out to the range. They, I think they thought twice of it and decided they'd get approval first, because who wants $1 million fine or whatever the fines they are for going to hand out if you don't comply? So they're checking in with the government about allowing people to come in on an appointment basis. That's it. I made 50-ish rounds of 6.5 grade more. I'm going to make a couple hundred 308. I don't know if I'm going to make the 308 to like M1 Grand spec so I can run it through my 308 Grand, or if I'll just make it and just have it around. I'll probably just make it and have it around. I've got some 168 and I got some 150, a whole bunch of 150. The 150 is fine. I can run that in the Garand.
Yeah, with 44 grain. What are you using for target?
I just got leftovers and I'm not buying any extra powder, so I'm going to find whatever load works for ball 308.
What's over here there?
If you like, Adriel, I've got the latest edition of the Hornady manual, and I can take pictures of the service condition or service rifle data and the specific M1 Garand data. And you'll see
Hodgdon has a service rifle loading for 308. I'm pretty sure. I was on there the other day and I saw one.
What were you gonna say, Ian?
Exact same as you. The Hornady manual I have, but they have a separate section, like you were saying. But if I'm using 7.62 brass, it's usually about 41 grains of IMR 4895, and then bumped up a couple grains for 308 brass. But I use 150 Hornady's, just full metal jacket, and it works great in everything that's old or like even the Nork M14s or whatever. And I actually have the receiver for a Garand, but I haven't built one yet.
You said 41? Because I think I've got 4895.
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
There's two 4895s. There's IMR 4895 and H 4895.
Yeah, and I'm using the IMR.
IMR for myself as well. Yep. So I don't know. I'll make some of that up. Yeah, Hodgdon's website has 308 Winchester and 308 Winchester service rifle. And the service rifle, I wonder what they say for $48.95. 42.6 to 45.3, but 41 will run just fine in it.
Seems a little hot, but we'll. I'll take a look at the book. And let you know.
Yeah. Nothing else myself. Kelly?
Not much. Since Thursday, I bought a gun. I bought a 1022. My dad's retiring, or he retired this weekend.
Mhm.
So a bunch of the kids went in on a 1022 because he doesn't have one and he wanted one. So, so I contacted SFRC, went down and got them to give me the rifle on Saturday. And so it was kind of like, I'll leave it in, tell me when you're going to get here, and I'll leave it in the minnow bin. They have a minnow bin beside the delivery door. So I was texting Marcy and I said, I'm here. She goes, okay, I'll go and put it in the minnow bin. So she left it in there. So I didn't actually see them, but everything was closed up and that. So so I got it. Went over to my dad's place yesterday, but he was still sleeping because he was working midnights. Left it in his living room with a little card that said, happy retirement and here's your gun, kind of thing, from all the kids. And that's been it. Yeah, that's it.
Very awesome.
Yeah. So
you said you did 35 years.
55.
Did you say you did 35? Oh,
my dad? 55. So he was with the forces first, and then he retired from the forces, and then he moved over to corrections. So yeah. So him and my brother both work at the same institution that I work at. So it was nice. I was able to see him when I went into work, and now I'll be able to see him. So
that's crazy that so many of your family are able to work at the same place.
Yeah. You think that's a job? Wow.
No. Anyways,
we're all thinking it, and I'm the only one that's asshole enough to say it. So I mean, I'm obligated.
It was kind of weird. I actually didn't want to go, and I got asked to go over to that institution, and at first I'm going, no, I don't want to go.
By the inmates?
No, by the staff. And I said, no, I don't really want to go. And then I thought about it. Yeah, you know what? I'll go. And then, but it's been pretty cool having both of them there. So, yeah,
cool.
That's about it.
What do you guys want to do for a main topic?
Ian's
here.
Bugout bags, you said?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm thinking here's the approach I'd like to take, and anybody have a different approach, let us know. What are five absolute must-have items in your Bugout bag? If you don't have these 5 items in your Bugout bag, you suck.
Oh, lists are always so much pressure. I don't know if I can handle that. Well, first of all, don't bug out. How's that? We just start with that one.
No, that's ensconcing is a different episode.
Yeah, no. I was going to say, unless you're actually going to be worse off by staying, I think, a lot of these guys that like to talk about bug-out bags, they don't seem to realize that when you have all your toys and all your supplies at home, you're really better off staying at home, unless the place is on fire or there's a horde of angry zombies knocking down your door or whatever. But and it's also tough to say with the top five because it's seasonal, right? I mean, you got to think in the middle of winter, in which case I'd want a parka.
There you go. You just gave yourself 2 lists.
Yeah. So, but if it's the middle of summer, I'd be more concerned with
Hold on a second, Ian. Adriel, I figured out why my mic's not working very well.
How do you even hear us right now?
Coming through the laptop speakers, the audio quality must be garbage.
Well,
you didn't notice a difference between
I got a toucan. I got a toucan with my ear, my.
Oh, wow, I can hear
you. Kelly was making fun the other night of saying she was the Alice in the group that can't get the audio or whatever. Nope. No, that's me. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Did the
yeah.
mic- yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Everything switched over automatically. Sorry,
yeah,
Ian.
it's
I'm
all
just
good.
being. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, I
Okay.
was just saying you should have talked to Rogers more often. They usually give you the Rogers questions. Make sure you turn it off back on. Is it plugged in? You know.
Yeah. Screw Rogers.
Anyway.
Also, another suggestion that we could discuss is a get home bag. Something that you keep in your truck in case you're like, something happens and there's civil unrest and you got to take the long way around the city and you need to have, more than your usual just I'm driving home from Tim Hortons stuff with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could definitely go with those two. So I guess both are going to depend on where are you? Like, how far are you from work? Are you walking distance? Are you driving distance? And how are you going to get where you want to go? Like, if either you're bugging out or getting home, are you taking a bike, walking, taking a vehicle? Because that can also depend on how much stuff you carry too, right? If all of a sudden it's super weight critical because you're walking, you're not going to want to carry an AR-15 16 mags, right?
Well, if you're walking, what you're going to do is if you're driving, you're going to bring as much as you can. And then if you actually need to ditch, you're going to ditch stuff so that you can carry it because you're going to be walking at that point. So it's all dependent on what's going on. It's kind of like Red Dawn, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember what the
nice analogy. Especially
not
scooping all the ammo into the coop.
We never discussed the recent one, just like we don't discuss the prequels in Star Wars.
No, exactly. So I mean, the scooping of the ammo into the shopping cart, I totally agree with. However, okay, so I guess item one, if you have to have a must-have, it's seasonally appropriate clothing. So no matter which way you're going, either going home or leaving home, you want to have preferably a wool toque, like some sort of like rainproof / weatherproof parka, and a good set of work gloves / insulated work gloves, because whether you're changing a tire on the car, sleeping overnight in the car, having to walk, trudge your way home through the snow, you don't want to get hypothermia or like just even be in a really uncomfortable, shitty state of mind.
Yeah.
So clothing. I mean, so even if it's just a pair of underwear and socks, because your Bugout bag is planned around going to the local Motel 6. I mean, which is a thing, right? So I'd say that's a must-have, is the clothing. If you're using a vehicle, I'd say a jerry can or two of gas ready to go. And I modeled that after the idea of the Fort McMurray fires, because what happened with those guys is they all blasted off out of town, got 20 miles down the highway and stopped because they're out of gas.
Well, and stayed parked for 8 hours on a highway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the fire's encroaching too.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have time to stop at the gas station, and those that did cleaned it out in half an hour, and then the roads were clogged, because by the time you stopped for gas and stood in lineup, now you're with everybody that's trying to go out of town. So if you don't have first mover advantage with any bug out situation, you're going to get stuck in the crowd, and you're probably going to end up like idling till you run out of gas in a traffic jam, because people drive like a-holes and they're going to get stuck in traffic, right? Because it's going to be an accident. So yeah, I would say a jerry can or two of gas just to save that hassle. Cash, no matter the situation, if you're getting home or leaving home, cash is king, because whether you have to like pay somebody for that food item that you need, whatever, and the power is out and people, even if like society is completely falling apart, zombies are attacking, people still think cash is worth something for at least a few days.
Okay, so right now what we're seeing is a lot of people refusing to take cash, which is weird, right?
Yeah, but that's just because they're germaphobes
right now. But
and that's the media too. Like, I mean, there's a big push for cashless societies, and I think if you want to put on your tinfoil for a second, I think that's part of the problem. Is they're trying to portray money as dirty.
Money is dirty. It's full of poop and cocaine.
Well, the problem is that if you make everything digital, you can tax the living F out of it a lot easier. Yeah. So, and not that I'm, that's that's my main concern with making it all digital currency, is that there's no garage sales, there's no, bartering, trading, or whatever. It's all.
Why not? I pay for stuff with EMT all the time. It doesn't get taxed. If I want to buy something from you right now, I'll send you an EMT. There's no tax there.
There's a fee.
There's a fee, but they can also start charging you capital gains down the road.
No fee in my accounts.
Huh?
Well, most EMTs are $1.50 per transaction.
Well,
if
you're doing
the government were to audit your bank account,
that's a different story.
You may need to account for all those little transactions.
Oh yeah,
in there.
Dude, it happened to somebody we know. His business got audited, and then they went through his personal bank accounts, and like he would sell somebody a gun privately, and they taxed him on it. He's like, I don't sell guns as a business. This was my personal property. It doesn't matter. So you're right, Adriel. It can happen. And you're also right, Ian. They would love for us to go digital.
Yeah, because
Then
it's
they
an
can
unreported
track-
income. They can tax it and they can track it.
They can track every expenditure we make.
Right now, our cash, Canadian cash, anyways, it's plastic. We can clean it.
Wash
if we
it.
need to.
It's great.
Anyways,
It's the most
I used a 20 today. We're good.
It's called
it's like the
laundering
most
your cash.
technologically advanced
It's
money
not
there
washing
is.
And so I guess the last thing would be the let's see here. We talked about clothing, cash, jerry
Gas.
can, and so I believe there's be 1 or 2 items left.
2.
Yeah, if you
Oh.
have a female partner, you need to put some stuff in there for her. Specific stuff for her.
Yeah, I get that, but that's more of a just like medications or anything else. You have to like tailor it around the person,
Yeah.
right?
Cash.
I would say honestly,
Meds.
okay. So depending on where you're going and what you're doing, some sort of a multi-tool, because I'm going to cheat there. Because either it's going to be a light my fire knife with a automatic fire flint in there. Although I disagree with flint and steel myself, when you can get Bic lighters at the dollar store for so cheap. But some sort of means of self-defense / multi-tool / multi-purpose item like that. And then other than that, I'd say a little bit of food and water, because if you're
my
not
multi-tool.
there you go. If you're not stopping for gas, you're not stopping for snacks. So I would say some sort of food for at least a day or two, depending on what the plan is. And like I said,
Cliff bars. I bought them for my bag the other day. They're white chocolate macadamia nut.
good stuff.
Keto.
Not keto.
Well, macadamia nuts keto.
Actually, macadamia nuts are actually almost like a net calorie sink. They're awesome.
They're the super high in fat.
Yeah, super high in fat and fiber, and then almost no sugar. So it's actually amazing. So and no carbs.
Yeah, I eat a lot of macadamia nuts.
But yeah, the Costco sells them by the bagful too. So
Now,
I would
white
say,
chocolate though, that grosses me out. White chocolate doesn't even deserve the name chocolate.
well, if you think of it as cocoa fat or cocoa butter fat, maybe.
Oh,
That'd be better.
That's it.
well then maybe it's
It
better
has
for me than I thought.
If you actually went cocoa butter fat out of a bag, that's almost like white chocolate, and that's very keto. But anyway,
Interesting.
moving along. So yeah, food and water. Because like I said, if you're not able to, like, if you're just blazing down the highway and you are like 4 hours from anywhere, okay, yeah, you'd want to have these snacks for a couple days to make sure. So that take care of the top 5 right there.
Dude, 1 bar, 41 grams of carbs.
That's good
like,
for almost 3 days.
yeah, exactly. It's like triple the amount of carbs I get per day now.
Yeah. Bit of a problem. But at that point, like just like I think we talked about before, is if you're going on survival food, you're not doing keto.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I wonder. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter.
What?
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know either. Okay, so this are your top 5. Okay.
Okay, so the next place is, like, honestly, I think before people start collecting up their Bugout bag with putting together their plate carriers and mag pouches and everything else, they got to think about where they're going. Because if you're blazing down to the Motel 6 because that's your plan in case of a forest fire or earthquake or whatever, and you know the owner and he's already got a room set aside for you, that's fantastic. You won't need the plate carrier to walk down the road with. But if you're going through the middle of Compton, maybe that's a plan. I don't know. Like, it just depends on what kind of things you're traversing as far as
I can't believe you
territories.
didn't say duct tape.
I did not say duct tape, but flattened duct tape goes pretty much anywhere, like glove compartments, back pockets.
You want to explain flattened duct tape?
Well, you can either take it off the roll and wrap it around your water bottle, or you can just take out the cardboard middle if you can get away with that, with a little knife, kind of cut it in half a few times, and then just take it out and then squish it flat. You'll get it doesn't take up as much space, and you can certainly hold a lot of it. There's lots of ways to store duct tape, but there's nothing it can't do.
Now, what do you recommend for water? Do you recommend a filter straw, like a Life straw, or purification tablets?
Tablets take
both?
time. Tablets take time and taste like garbage, and they don't actually filter anything. They just sanitize it.
Mm-hmm.
Life straw is only good for, I think, 1,000 gallons, and it's like almost like single use. You can't backwash it to clean out the gunk that's in there. So the dirtier the water, the less gallons you get out of it. Go with the Sawyer Mini because you can backwash it, It's good for 100,000 gallons. And you can use it about 6 different ways, including in line with your plate carrier if you have the hydration pack, or you can do it IV style with a 2-liter bottle and a tube. You can do it just with the squeeze bottle they provide with you.
And it's called a Sawyer
Mini.
There's the mini and there's a regular size one. The regular size one flows a bit better, but it is bigger.
Yeah.
It's about.
Can we get a link for that? Post it in the show notes.
Yeah, Amazon.ca will be your first bet in Canada, but down in the States, Walmart, $20 maybe.
Mountain Equipment Co-op, REI, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And but there's a Sawyer Micro. Do not get that one. It's nowhere near as good. But the Sawyer Mini.
This book actually recommends the N95 mask. N95 is a nationally recognized rating given to indicate that the mask filters airborne particles that are 0.3 microns or larger in size. N95 masks are made by a variety of manufacturers. There you go. You need to have an N95 mask in your Bugout bag.
Mm-hmm. Not just for pandemics, but also think of it if you have an earthquake or anything like that. There's gonna be a lot of dust around.
Yeah.
Fires for ash. There's no.
We're calling it a dust mask in here, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons.
Sawyer Mini is $41 on Amazon.ca.
Canadian dollar sucks.
I know.
I think I got my last one for like 25 in Canada. It was crazy. But say if you're in New Brunswick and you can cross border shop, or in Kingston, I'd zip across to Walmart. Well, not right now, obviously you can't, but if you get the chance, once the border reopens, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take that long for me to go down to Walmart, Fort Drum, but not during a pandemic. I'm not.
No, unfortunately not.
No. Oh well.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Any questions from our listeners? Let's give them a second here to chime in, and I'll read them off to Ian.
Well, you're looking for that, Ian. What type of because if you're bringing food and you've got it back, what do you want to bring for fire source?
Honestly, I would skip if you're bugging out and you're on the move. Do you really want to sit around for 25 minutes cooking stuff? So I would go with the pre-made, like Trevor's idea. Get the pre-made snacks, stuff that you're willing to eat cold in the can, if you really want to carry the heavy stuff.
Okay.
There's Datrex rations or Datrex. I don't know what you call them, but the wheat rations they use on board ships.
Yeah.
Like Adriel has right in his hand there. Might want to show that on the screen again if you can. But I mean, there's all sorts of ways to do it. Like those come in cookie form, and they are
horrible.
They're energy dense.
Yeah, compressed hamster shavings, as somebody called it, I think, once before. But it's there. It's going to keep you alive. Will you be happy about it? No, but you'll
got bigger things to worry about.
They're not that bad.
No. Yeah. But honestly, everything that's pre-sealed and keeps for a good while, you can change it out twice a year with the Cliff bars there. They're not going to last more than a year with the heat extremes you have in your car, right? So if you have the bag of Cliff bars sitting in your car, you're not going to want to leave them there for more than a year.
No.
Change them out. But I wouldn't bother if you're actually in some sort of a panicky hurry. Nothing that needs cooking.
No.
Get home bag, same idea. Do you really want to sit there and dither and start a fire and let everybody know where you are? If you just want to get home and it might only be an 8-hour hike or something to get there, I just honestly keep it simple. Because I don't know, you guys are pretty good about fitness, especially you, Kelly. I know that. So, but I mean, like the average person that has a Bugout bag is not going to sit there and have a 40-pound pack, do a 50K hike when they've never done it for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
The less stuff you have on board, the better. I mean,
yeah, that's probably. I would imagine most people's Bugout bags are way too heavy.
Oh,
because they have all sorts of weird stuff in there that's like really super heavy. And if they actually took that thing for a hike, they would be dying in like 10K.
Honestly, like I do that 5K hike up in the sticks behind my house every day, and there's a steep terrain and everything else. I throw in a hunting rifle; it makes a difference. And even with like a Tika T3 light that I'm carrying around, or heaven forbid the
you
stag.
Get tired of carrying that fast, man.
Yeah, and so like, can you imagine like an extra 25 pounds of stuff on your back under stress, and you're having to like carry along your kids or coach them along, and you're trying to probably not in proper footwear and anything else. So
No, kids are a liability. You got to be light on your feet. You got to travel alone.
well, I figure as long as I can outrun them, the bear will get them first, right? So
That's right.
I can make more.
True story. Well, there are no questions.
Okay.
So
I posted the link for that water
you.
purification on the
Cool.
thread.
Yeah, I'll pop it into the show notes there.
Hey.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, Ian.
Hey, no worries, man.
You guys got anything else for him before we wrap it up?
No. Just keep it
I
nice and
think
light.
so.
Awesome. So we're going to try again. Today's Monday. Try again on,
Maybe.
well, Thursday for sure.
Yeah.
If we do something before then, we'll let you all know.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Actually, before we go, I just got a quick shameless plug here.
Yep.
Next Sunday, we're talking basically lockdown cuisine on Canadian Prepper Podcast. So Sunday
Ooh.
at 9 p.m. Eastern. Basically, what we've come up with during our little lockdown as far as pandemic-specific cuisine with what we have on board in the house.
Oh, interesting. I
Yeah.
look forward to hearing that. Now, I did another huge run. Christina has allergy shots, and that's the only thing that's been taking us out of the house. And the allergy shot happens at the doctor's office. The doctor's office is upstairs from the grocery store. So 2 birds, 1 stone. She's getting the allergy shot. I'm getting the groceries. She gave me the food card and a list. I may have got 3 of everything that was on the list. It was a $730 order of groceries, which for some people may be their normal run, but for us, we were pretty much just $75 a week. We would go and get stuff as we needed, right? So that was it's probably the largest order that we've ever done since we were married. I was just telling them how you were foolish enough to give me your MasterCard and leave me alone unsupervised.
Still haven't given it back.
I haven't given it back, apparently. Woohoo! Online shopping. Here we come.
And as long as stuff you normally eat, who cares, right? You just.
Oh, that's it, Ian. We didn't do anything. We just got more of what we normally get, right? So I haven't gone off keto. I ate 1 pizza. I confess. I was having a down day, and I was like, screw this quarantine stuff. I need comfort food. And I ordered a pizza, and it tasted so good. But having not eaten anything like that for, in some cases, over a year, my guts, in some ways, I'm still paying for it. But it was good. Oh, man, it was good.
Before we go, there was one question about what's a good radio to have.
If they just mean for an AM, FM, just so you can listen to news updates type of thing. Honestly, there's no brand name. I grabbed a simple one off Amazon, I think it was, or it was at eBay for $6 or $7, and they all work the same. I mean, even my work headset that I use around the acreage here has AM, FM on it. I mean, just something that uses a single or maybe 2 AA batteries, the common battery type.
What if we want something for communication with a partner, some kind of two-way communication?
UV5R, only because, yes, you technically need a ham license to go on the ham bands, but it also does the what they call the FRS and GMRS bands.
Yeah.
Those Midland radios that they say they're good for 25K, they're not. 1 or 2 tops. So something like a UV5R that you can actually just stick to the bands that you're legal to transmit on. Be fantastic. Might be $35-$40 a piece. I can certainly hook people up with that if they want.
That's the Baofeng radio, right?
Oh yeah, I got one of those. Matthew gave me one of those. I haven't a clue how to work it.
I can send you a couple of frequency ones. You can manually tune in the legal frequencies for you to use.
Nice. Please do. It's sitting downstairs. You used to be able to listen to RSMP on it, and apparently somebody came over who was an ambulance driver, an EMT, and he's like, you can get on the local EMS channel. I'm like, what are you talking about? He had his radio, and he grabbed my radio, and he put in some buttons, and sure enough.
Yeah, it's perfectly legal to listen. You just can't transmit on those bands, right? So
Interesting.
So, yeah.
But that's the thing is the UV5R does do FM as well. So as long as you don't mind skipping AM, you can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, have the communication with your friends, and listen on FM radio. As long as you got an FM station that transmits when the power is out, which most of them do for at least a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nope.
No, I
I
don't
think
think so.
that's it.
All right.
Awesome.
You're awesome, Ian. Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys.
Thanks. See you guys.
See you guys possibly before Thursday, if not Thursday.